Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture is titled Lunar Occultation of Mercury. So what do we see here? Well, here we see images of our moon. Now, it's a very thin crescent moon. You can see that on the very bottom there. That is the portion that is actually directly illuminated by our sun. So if you were looking at this in the sky, you would see a very thin crescent in the sky. However, the rest of it is also illuminated, but it's not illuminated directly from the sun, but indirectly by the sun. Essentially, the sunlight travels to Earth. Some of that sunlight reflects to the moon, and some of that reflects back to Earth, allowing the moon to glow very faintly, even by that reflected earth shine, as it's called. So we can sometimes see that, and it's especially prominent in a very thin crescent moon when the rest of the moon is not overwhelmingly bright. Now we can also see the planet Mercury in both images. In the upper image, it is just off the edge of the moon, in fact, about to disappear behind the moon. And this is what we call an occultation. And that's when one astronomical object passes in front of another one. And this often happens with the planets passing in front of a star, but even more likely with the moon passing in front of a star or maybe one of the planets. And that just means that it temporarily blocks out that light. And that means shortly after the time of the first image, Mercury would have disappeared from sight for a short time, and then eventually reappeared lower down. And we can see that in the lower image, where Mercury is now down below the crescent illuminated portion of the moon. So during that time, it passed behind the moon and disappeared for a short period of time. Now, again, an occultation is usually when one larger object can block out something that appears much smaller. When the moon and the sun do this, then we call it an eclipse, but it's the same kind of thing. The moon is passing in front of Mercury here, and during a total solar eclipse, the moon will pass in front of our sun. Now, it's a relatively rare event that does not occur often, and this time it occurred just a week or so ago on February 18th when Mercury disappeared behind the moon. Now, as with an eclipse, you have to be in the right location for this to be visible. So in an eclipse, you've got to be on the eclipse path. Well, here you have to be on the path where the occultation was visible. If you're too far north or south, then Mercury would pass completely above or below the moon, and we would not see an occultation. So you have to be in the right positioning on Earth, as well as having the moon and Mercury positioned correctly in the sky for something like this to occur. So that was our picture of the day, titled Lunar Occultation of Mercury. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be Aurora Arbor Borealis. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.